Welcome to another episode of Madmensports. Today is July 8th. Hope everyone had a good weekend.
Long weekend.
Long weekend, thank God. Needed that.
Congratulations to U.S. women's soccer team.
Yeah, back-to-back ships, man. Good shit. David, how are you, man?
Good. Real good. Long work week, but good.
Sipping on that black button moonshine, I see, huh?
Hey, to a day well done.
Cheers, boys.
Zack, how you doing, man?
Great. I know we had a nice long weekend, a little Thursday to Sunday action for some people. Other people have to work through it. I get that. The post office works through that all the way through, except for obviously Thursday. And I got something in the mail on Friday that I haven't even revealed to Jacob.
Were they the season tickets?
They were the season tickets. I got my red envelope this weekend.
Woohoo!
Got the season tickets in the mail. We are ready, locked, and loaded.
So you two are broke for a while, huh?
Yeah.
No, we didn't. We don't like pay for them once we get them in the mail. We've been broke for a while.
Yeah. Dave, you should get season tickets, man.
I just want to see some wins and we could talk.
Perfect. That's what we're all
We have an
working
open
for.
seat right next to us. You could just buy the cheapest StubHub ticket and sit next to us. Pretty good seats too, right, Jake?
Pretty darn good seats.
Shout out to all them pairs.
So, we have some news. Like Dave said, the U.S. women's soccer team won the World Cup championship today. Also, it seems like Kawhi had made his decision on where he's going. He's going to be at the Clippers. Zach?
Former Buffalo Braves, go Clippers, baby!
Hey, there we
Break
go.
out the hats and jerseys.
Woohoo!
Anything that screws the Lakers over.
You know you got a Bob McAdoo jersey in the fucking attic.
Yeah,
Do
gee.
feel bad for the Raptors, though. That does suck.
Yeah. Also, local news, Buffalo Sabres signed Marcus Johansson, so that's definitely kind of a good prospect for the Buffalo
Yeah,
Sabres.
that's a big top 6 signing for them, so good for them. Bills-wise, we have almost zilch on the news side, which is fine. Like we've been saying the last couple weeks, they're on vacation. Let them enjoy it.
No news is good news.
Exactly. This is the time where, idle hands, last year you had the whole LaShawn McCoy incident.
Zay Jones window incident.
Exactly,
You leave him alone.
staying out of the headlines right now is the best case scenario. So, no news is fantastic
I
news.
think Incognito was throwing a weight at some old guy.
Yeah. Wanted to cut
Eric-
some guy's head off.
Eric Wood had the surprise retirement last offseason. This offseason has been very docile comparatively. I like that.
Yeah. Hopefully that is a sign for good things to come. So, this next segment is brought to you by Black Button Distilling. At 149 Swan Street, they have a Buffalo tasting room, which is perfect for any live events, any conferences. I can tell you, I love Black Button Distilling. My favorite product that they make is the apple pie moonshine. Actually, I'm kind of sipping on it right now, so
As am
definitely
I.
feeling a little loose.
And as you guys know from listening to us, I'm a big 4-grain bourbon fan. It goes down like as smooth as could be. It's got a great bold taste. Black Button Distilling does a great job with all of their products. We recently cracked open their citrus gin. It's a great summertime drink, honestly. You can mix it with almost anything you'd like. Throw it in gin and tonic, and you are floating. That is good stuff.
Anyone that knows Diamond Dave, he goes to a bar, he gets a Bud Light, he gets his muscle shirt on, he gets a Bud Light. But lately I've been asking for apple pie moonshine, and a lot of bars surprisingly have it.
What are you, Russell Simmons? You put your muscle shirt on and go to a bar?
Drink some Bud Light.
Well, hey, that's where we wrap it. Dave, till a day well done.
Russell Simmons, look at He's my brother, so I'm allowed to rag on him, but he does kind of look like Russell Simmons. He's bald, though. He's got the hair. The hair doesn't really go down pat for him. But, yeah, Dave's known for his muscle shirt and Bud Light. And, honestly, since we've partnered with Black Button, he's really actually turned down his drinking habit. He's a little bit more into the whiskey now. He likes the whiskey tea.
He's a more refined man.
Exactly. He goes out. He's able to find all the different kinds of drinks out there. You'll find them, honestly, at your local bars. You can definitely find them at liquor stores. Black Button Distilling, great product, great wholesome company. You guys got to track them out. Just like Jake said, 149 Swan Street. Let's just parlay this right into our Black Button discussion of the week. Jake, kick us off, buddy.
Yeah, so last year was a big draft class for quarterbacks. Leading up until the draft, there was a lot of discussions on which team was going to take that top-tier quarterback. Big names include, of course, we have Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson, to name a few. So what we want to kind of pose a discussion as is which team who had drafted one of these quarterbacks is best suited for the playoffs right now. Zach, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, honestly, this is a loaded question. You're asking me about which of these 5 quarterbacks has the best team around them, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Which is
So it's not. I'm not. You're not asking me which quarterback out of the 5 is better talent wise. You're asking me the other 10 players and on the other side of the ball, all the way through roster. Which one's
true.
better?
All things combined, yes. But also you have to take into account which quarterback is better because, as you know, quarterback is the most valuable player on the field. So you have to take into account, of course, which value is more.
All right, that's good. I just wanted to make sure we had that clear for our listeners and me because I've got to answer this kind of a loaded question here. So, yeah, when it comes to best team around the quarterback, I would have to go with just, Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens because they were a playoff team last year. They have the most seasoned coach. They just added on Mark Ingram. So they're getting better. They did lose, their number 1 wide receiver, John Brown, to the Bills. Big win for Buffalo there. But you're taking a playoff team and you're only adding a running back and more experience to the roster. I would have to say as a whole, the best team around one of the rookie quarterbacks from 2018 is probably the Baltimore Ravens because they did win the AFC North last season.
Perfect.
Who's he going to throw to? What receivers they have out there?
He didn't end up throwing to John Brown too much last year anyways. So when it comes to the wide receivers, he can do without. Everyone kind of bags on Josh Allen being too much of a running quarterback. Lamar Jackson kind of went out there and ran around, threw when he needed to. Wasn't always the best thrower. I think that there's a huge drop-off from talking about the best passing quarterback and the best quarterback with the team around him. Those are 2 different conversations. So, obviously, if you ask me which one is the best passing quarterback, I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield. Threw for a ton of yards, ton of touchdowns, really led the Cleveland Browns to that nice 7-8-1 record. Huge improvement from the season before. But when you're asking me which quarterback has that X factor around them, I think Baltimore, being a playoff team last year, is just kind of growing as it goes.
Yeah, and I certainly agree with you. You do make a lot of good points with Lamar Jackson being taken 32nd overall. He didn't start. He appeared in 16 games. So out of every quarterback,
they were able to use that dual quarterback system.
He played in the most games. You were saying his passing yards, his passing stats weren't as great as the other quarterbacks. He had about 1,200 passing yards, 6 throwing touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. But where he did shine, of course, was his rushing. He had 695 rushing yards with 5 rushing touchdowns. So, basically, I was looking this up. The Baltimore Ravens are tied with the 19th overall in strength of schedule. So they do have some good chances to kind of play against those lower tier teams this season. So look for them to be a past playoff team to kind of be a contender this year.
Yeah, Dave, what do you think about this?
Well, I went into this thinking you both were going to say Baker Mayfield. I would strongly disagree with that because you take 2 losses in a row with the hotheads they have on that team right now with picking up Odell. They got Jarvis Landry, who they had, who those 2 are best friends, so they're going to back each other up. They also have Kareem Hunt, who isn't with the Chiefs anymore, suspended the first 6 or 8 games of the year. They have 2 bad games. That team's blowing up around them. Baker Mayfield's already a hothead, so I don't agree with that. Antonio Callaway, who was featured in Hard Knocks, is a hothead too. That team has the explosion written all over it. They're not going to be a playoff team, and I'm willing to bet something on that.
That's a lot for Freddie Kitchens to have to go into his first year with all those different personalities, and you're going to hear it all summer from ESPN, Fox, NFL Network, wherever you hear national media talk about the Cleveland Browns, you're going to hear them talk about them waiting for that team to boil over and watch it all fall apart around first-year coach Freddie Kitchens. So that's a great point, Dave. It's a real point, regardless of whether it's a narrative or not. It's something that people are going to have to look out for because it might be a real concern throughout the season.
Yeah, and you look at Josh Rosen, thank you, next. And then you also have
Ariana Grande there.
You also have Lamar Jackson, who I don't agree with you guys with. I think that his running game is going to catch up with him, kind of like it caught up with quarterbacks in the past. I don't think he's going far.
Wait a second. That's Rosen? No. Jackson? No. Mayfield? No. There's only 2 quarterbacks left, Dave.
Sam Darnold, I'm not real big on. I don't think that team has enough weapons, and I don't think Sam Darnold's going to be that great. I think he's...
That's 4, Dave. There's only 1 quarterback left.
And I really don't mean to be a homer, but... Homer Simpson there. I really want to say the Bills. I'm going to tell you why. Josh Allen had a decent year last year. Not great, not good, decent. He did what he had to do to win the games we did. This year, his biggest weakness last year was passing game. We put running backs around him. Hopefully McCoy shines better than he did last year. Shows up, actually cares. We have running game. There's no excuse not to have a successful year. We have weapons around him. Cole Beasley should get 10 to 12 catches a game, hopefully. He should be the focal point.
12 to 10 catches a game? That's a lot of catches.
That's what he averaged in Dallas.
Wow, that's a fantasy stud if you ask me then, right?
Which we could talk about next week. But the weapons around him right now, I don't know if the Bills necessarily have the best record, but I think Josh Allen will have the best numbers, and he will be the biggest stud coming out of this year in his sophomore year.
And there's a damn good chance the Bills have the best defense going into this season out of the 5.
Well, I mean, if we're talking defense, then we need to talk about the Browns and Ravens, but that's a different discussion. But
we are
I agree.
Talking about all overall teams here, but there's some points that I want to make to what you said, David. So, Josh Allen appeared in 12 games last year. Had decent stats. I mean, he had just over 2,000 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. I mean, he did have a 52.8 completion rating. There's a lot of debate towards that, whether that was attributed to dropped catches or whether he's an inaccurate passer. But I do need to see him make that leap next year. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, by far, had the best offseason, with additions like Cole Beasley, John Brown, Frank Gore, Mitch Morris in the offensive line, and Tyler Kroft. I mean, you're setting yourself up for success, kind of centering your offense around that rookie quarterback. The Buffalo Bills are ranked 24th in strength of schedule, so they really do have a favorable schedule coming up. What I kind of am thinking, though, is I don't have a problem with your point, Zach, with the Baltimore Ravens. You, as unfortunately, I'm a huge Bills fan, huge Josh Allen fan. I am going to have to go with the Cleveland Browns. I just want to kind of make some points here as well, and you guys certainly can weigh in. By far, Baker Mayfield had the best-looking stats from a rookie quarterback. With 14 games appeared in, he had 3,725 passing yards, passing by a lot every rookie quarterback, 27 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, had the best passer completion rate with 63.8. With the additions of OBJ, Sheldon Richardson on the defense, and Oliver Vernon, I believe that they're going to make it far, even with their offensive weapons that were already with them last year as Jarvis Landry, Duke Johnson, and David Njoku. They're setting themselves up for success. The only question I have is their first-year coach, whether or not they're going to be successful.
Something else they're not really considering is a rebuttal or argument, if you want. Cincinnati Bengals are the first year that they don't have Marvin Lewis as a coach, so they have a fresh start. They have a heck of a roster. Steelers lost Antonio Brown. They also lost Le'Veon Bell, but they didn't lose much because they still have...
Roethlisberger's another year older, though.
They still have what they have, but they're a guaranteed playoff spot every year. The Ravens, Zack's apparently a big fan of the Ravens. The Bills, what they have in their way right now is the Patriots. Like always, Tom Brady is one injury away from the division being wide open. So if we're talking overall finalizing of the year, you got to go with the Bills. Browns have a tough division.
See, you say the Pittsburgh Steelers are an every-year playoff spot. They didn't even make it last year. They've got some problems in that team.
Yeah,
and
but
they're only getting
competitive
older.
every single year, and they're always a team that you're scared to play.
And the Browns have a favorable schedule as well. They're ranked 23rd on that strength of schedule. I mean, it's certainly a great discussion. We're certainly going to have to see where this plays out. I kind of want to show you guys what other people are thinking as well. We're going to look at the future Super Bowl odds. So the favorite to win the Super Bowl out of these 5 teams is the Cleveland Browns, actually. They're 16-1. In second place, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, 40-1. Both the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills, 100-1. And then the Miami Dolphins, who's no one's considering, is 500-1. So, I mean, we're not off.
Yeah, my only point for the Cleveland Browns is they have to get past the Ravens. And now it's easier said than done because you do have a quarterback that's probably better passing with the Cleveland Browns than, Lamar Jackson may be. So it comes down to coaching at that point. And there's a lot of talent on both teams. So if we put talent aside, everything's even. It comes down to coaching. I'm going to trust John Harbaugh to be a better coach than Freddie Kitchens. Now, do I think Freddie Kitchens is going to be a bad coach? No. I just think that when it comes down to it, experience will matter in those head-to-head, tough divisional AFC North games. And that's just what it is every year. It's a slobber knocker of a division. So when it comes down to it, winning that division is like finally winning Mortal Kombat. Like, you got the shit beat out of you. You get to the end. You get to the playoffs.
Now, Zach, let me ask you a question, and I'm asking you this because I don't know. We were talking about coaches and how that makes a difference. Mm-hmm. Do you know if Harbaugh has any experience kind of coaching these versatile quarterbacks as Lamar Jackson is?
He definitely has been the most successful with Joe Flacco, but I can totally see him being able to grow with Lamar Jackson. He's an innovative guy. He's obviously a Super Bowl champ. You know, those guys just don't pick up and stick in their ways. You have to constantly move and grow and evolve in this game. Obviously, he's been able to do it for this long. Now, don't quote me. I believe he's in his 9th year as a head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. So it's difficult to say whether or not it will make a difference, but I will say that he definitely made the playoffs last year with a quarterback who definitely wasn't so capable of throwing. So he was definitely capable of adjusting the offense. Now, a guy that we don't love so much, Greg Roman, is calling the shots as the offensive coordinator in Baltimore, and we both know, Jake, that he was definitely mildly successful with Tyrod Taylor. So there is a chance.
He's usually a running type coach, though.
Exactly, so that's why it kind of plays to the strength of Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
And it definitely will complement Mark Ingram well as well. So,
absolutely, that kind of two-headed monster in the backfield will make a huge difference for the AFC North outcome.
No, definitely great points. Thank you for answering that question. Any final thoughts for you, Dave? Why? Give me your final, most important point. Why you think Josh Allen is the player to pick here?
The coaches took the whole offseason to focus around Josh Allen's improvement and making him better. You can't say the same for the Ravens. You can't say the same for the Dolphins. I don't even think they want Rosen. I don't know what's going on there. You can't say the same for the Jets. I don't know what the Jets are doing. You can say the same for the Browns, but the Browns' difference is the Browns went out and got the flashy players. They went out and got the Corvettes. They got the Teslas, all the fancy cars. Bills went out and kept kosher what they have and just built around him. They didn't.
They trusted the
Cole
process.
Beasley he is a flashy guy. Brown, you guys are huge fans of Brown. We'll see. The Bills got tons of running backs. The Bills did not run the ball at all last year. The only one that ran the ball was Josh Allen. If he doesn't have to do that this year and he can focus on the arm, which is what he was drafted for, Bills can have a heck of a team. We already agreed that in later podcasts the Bills should have a top 5 defense, maybe top 10. So if Allen improves just a little bit, we're in a good spot. I really think the Browns are a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, you want to know what is crazy? Here, Dave brought up a great point. Like, we're sitting here in this room, we're talking about how Josh Allen needs to run less, but literally a year ago at this time, we were talking about how his arm is his biggest asset and how much, that's going to be a versatile point for the Buffalo Bills, how it's going to open up the offense. This guy seems pretty damn Swiss Army knife to us, doesn't he? He can run. We know we can bomb the ball down the field. I think if we can put it together and get a balance out of that, perfectly balanced as all things should be, I think we could really see something out of Josh Allen here. Now, I know, of course we're being a homer. Dope. Homer Simpson right there. But, I mean, I think Dave might have a point. I'm going to stick by the playoff team out of this group with Baltimore Ravens. I do see, these are definitely the 3 teams that are the most impressive on paper. Mm-hmm. Baltimore Ravens obviously made the playoffs last year. Cleveland Browns obviously went and got the superstar. And the Bills obviously built around a quarterback who looked great towards the last 6 games of the season.
Mm-hmm. And there was something, because, we're heavily focused on the Buffalo Bills here, so I want to give my input on the New York Jets, on Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had a decent season. There's really nothing to write home about. Seriously wasn't in contention for Rookie of the Year. So he's not a flashy player. He had some good stats. He was second behind Baker Mayfield in quarterback completion percentage with 57.7. Decently, almost 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns. He had a problem with interceptions. I think the Bills picked him off multiple times.
One thing they do have is Le'Veon Bell.
And they did acquire Jamison Crowder. So, not too many flashy signings. They did kind of reach for an offensive lineman, which they did lose out. And, of course, the Anthony Barr situation. But they do have a really easy schedule coming up. So, it's really up in the air.
All right, let's saran wrap this conversation up. That was our black button conversation. Cheers to a day well done, boys. Let's jump right into our Coach of the Week. Now, this is a coach that we've talked about a long time. Obviously, as always, This segment is sponsored by Prima Pasta Pizza on the corner of West Chippewa and Pearl. Stop in always for their daily lunch specials, closed on Sundays.
I had a slice there on Thursday. Delicious.
Did you get the white pizza?
I got the white pizza.
What's with you and the white pizza, man?
That's what he wanted to try when we first
I got
started
the white
this.
pizza and a slice of pepperoni. It was absolutely delicious.
Well,
I will see you guys there. My muscle shirt and Bud Light.
That was on Kevin. Shout out to Kevin. Appreciate you supporting us, and we look forward to more. But as I was saying, this is a coach we've talked about very often on the podcast, Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Now, this is his 20th year in the NFL, third with the Bills. His first season, we all remember the locker room video of them finally making the playoffs with, defensive coordinator embracing his longtime defensive tackle, Kai Williams. He was a former Vikings head coach in 2011, 2013. Didn't keep his job too long. Quick league, But this is a two-time Super Bowl champion. He's won one as a player with the 1985 Chicago Bears. He's won one as a coach in 2006. Assistant head coach to Tony Dungy with the Indianapolis Colts. And this is a guy that we love. We talk about often. We love Leslie Frazier. We know how important he is. When Sean McDermott came on as the coaching staff, he was building his staff up. And, everyone was really excited about having a veteran in the booth, such as Leslie Frazier, who can build this defense, really see Sean McDermott's vision through as he builds the rest of the roster and the rest of the team forward. I think it's a great call by McDermott to bring him on. And obviously, we've been seeing in the past 3 years that it's been a great improvement in the defense. He was able to, as a defensive back himself, he's been able to see Tre'Davious White grow into maybe a top 10, top 5, maybe top 3 defensive cornerback in the league. So it's really exciting to have Leslie Frazier on the sidelines. He's been a great defensive coordinator. He's seen some great players. He's going to mature our linebackers, mature the defensive tackle, mature everybody, and I'm looking forward to seeing him through. Jake, what's your point on Leslie Frazier?
So actually, a little fun fact about Leslie Frazier as well. When the Vikings improved to 10-6, they made the playoffs that year. He actually finished 4th in voting for the NFL Coach of the Year award, and them making the playoffs resulted in the team electing their 4th-year option for that coach. So he's got some playoff experience.
Exactly. He's 0-1 in the playoffs. Now that he's with the Bills, he's 0-2 as a coach in the playoffs.
I'm not saying winning experience.
Yeah, no,
playoffs,
but being there is
experience.
important. Being there is important. Getting the invite, getting to the achievement of being a playoff team, which hopefully, starting this season, we expect and hope that the Bills become a consummate, consistent contender. Dave, you love Leslie Frazier, right?
I do. I think he's a great defensive coach. I think I could see him being here for years to come. I think he's cemented in the process. He's ready to go.
He's one of the guys that you kind of hold your breath every year that another team doesn't come in and swoop him up for another head coaching stint.
Good and bad about him. You never see him lose his cool. Players respect him, but you never see him lose his cool. He's one of the calmest coaches because he's part of the Tony Dungy tree. He's calm. He does what he needs to do. I think I see the offensive coach get more fired up than defensive coach. But that's fine because the defense is pretty darn good right now.
Yeah, I mean, big Leslie Frazier fans. We love him. I hope he stays here. Like I was saying, he's one of those guys that you kind of hold your breath for every year. That he does, because he does get interviews, and we know it's kind of about the Rooney Rule, this and that. It's kind of bullshit every year. But that's a guy that could definitely be a head coach somewhere else and probably be successful just as he was in Minnesota. Hopefully he just wants to take back a seat to Sean McDermott for the rest of his career, and us Bills fans get to thrive off of his success and knowledge.
Ooh, also, fun fact, Frazier led the team with 6 interceptions during the 1985 season.
That was a really great team, too.
Yeah.
Do you know who they beat in that Super Bowl, Jake?
Ooh, I probably should brush up on my knowledge
New
here.
England
but...
Patriots 45-10.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a bitch beatdown.
You know, I always love to see the New England Patriots losing the Super Bowl.
And your boy Herm Edwards had a touchdown interception in that game.
Ooh, my boy.
You know what the problem with that game was? Walter Payton never got a touchdown. They let the fridge get a touchdown, but not Walter Payton.
Damn shame.
And that's something they always talk about, and this is what it is. Jim McMahon was the quarterback of that team, and, Leslie Frazier, 2-time Super Bowl champ, bringing his knowledge to the Buffalo Bills.
And this has been another episode of Madmensports, guys. We really appreciate you guys listening on every source that you possibly can. Thank you, Black Button. Thank you, Prima Pizza. Also, thank you, you guys. You guys are awesome. The season's 18 days away. We cannot. Training camp is 18 days away. We cannot be more excited. Any questions? Please leave questions or comments on there. on the website, and we would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, check out me and Dave's second installment of the defensive side of the 60th year anniversary of the Buffalo Bills. I knew I said I was going to release it on Tuesday. Obviously, holiday week. I didn't want to overdose you guys on stuff you have to do. I decided to leave it for everyone to go back to work, watch it, read it when you are messing around on the computer at work, trying to kill some clock. So I'm rolling that out today. You'll obviously see it whenever. So leave your comments, and the defensive side of the ball is where Dave and I butted heads the most. I hope you like the list. Obviously, later installment of it will be who was left out, why, and who brought up who was left out, because me and Dave definitely brought up multiple positions.
I guarantee some of those picks will anger you, some of them will excite you. Either way, please let us know.
We just hope it's nostalgic and fun.
This has been Diamond Dave, Jake, and Zach, and we will hear from you guys next week. We are excited about it. 18 days with the training camp. Couldn't be more excited.
Can't wait for it to be 11.
Any topics you guys want to discuss, please tell us next week.
My guy.